Yeah, looking back, analyzing the tape, it's I thought our defense played extremely well. I thought our special teams played really well, and at times on offense we did obviously some really good things, but we were stumbling over ourselves too many times on offense. Certainly in the run game. And so we got to clean some things up there. I thought Jake, it's always different on tape. I thought he did some really nice things in the pocket, and there was probably 3 or 4 throws that he'd probably like to have back. The interception, the guy just sat on the out. He's trying to time things, and the other one he just kind of missed the scramble throw, a little far too inside. But he did do some really nice things in the pocket, and let's keep building on those things.
What'd you make of Hayner's day?
Jake was good. Yeah, he kind of practices like that, and he's been a really pretty good deep ball thrower for the last year, and that kind of showed up in the game, and gives those guys a chance to make plays for him, and those receivers have been doing that. So it was kind of how he'd been practicing.
How much do you evaluate who he's playing and the time of the game? Meaning you may have some backups in at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep this in perspective. I mean, it's different than, crunch time, where it really, you were trying to win the game. I mean, it's a different feel. I think you can play a little more relaxed, and, that certainly matters. But, he has been practicing well too, so it's good to see it translate to the field.
You said you're stumbling over yourselves in the run game. What in particular has been?
It just wasn't clean enough. I mean, they were movement defense and twisting and looping and all those things, and I think our guys were probably playing a little too tentative, and when you do that, it usually doesn't ever look good.
How do you feel about the offensive line through 2 games, a couple injuries in there?
Yeah, like I said, it was so much different of a style than we saw the first week. So it was, I don't think you realize how different that is in terms of their preparation. Like, it's completely different, and sometimes certain styles give certain people more issues. But you got 5 guys, and one of them messes up, it's going to show up in there, and that's all it takes is one guy to be on an edge or something, and it can look really bad. So we're still building, still working, still trying to figure out the right, combination of guys.
Did you notice there was a series or 2 in there where you put in Cole in center? Was there any?
Boomer lost his shoe. And I wouldn't have any problem putting Cole in. He's worked hard, and he's made good progress, and he's going to keep getting better. He really will. I mean, we've been pleased with him, and I think he and Boomer were battling kind of for that second spot, through camp, and Boomer's got a lot of reps under his belt, and so Cole will keep getting better. So that wasn't a problem to get him in there.
As experienced as Jesse is there still a different feeling when you're actually starting, and then there's maybe that whole week of kind of building up to it, and then finally you're in? And
yeah.
Is there a thinking thing? Maybe they aren't going to play as fast as you maybe would like them to?
Or you could play better. It's a little bit what Softy's talking about of, it could be you haven't been thinking about it, and you put a guy in, and away he goes. He doesn't overanalyze it, or sometimes you can, I guess, play mind games with that whole thing. So I do think it's different whether, time of game a guy goes in, when he goes in, if he's starting, building up, and, all we can do is just try to study our tail off and figure out who we're going against, and then practice really, really hard.
What did you see from the freshmen on defense that they kept in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, you'd like to see him out there more. I mean, that's always the problem. You get in that fourth quarter, and it seems to go so fast that you'd like them on the field longer. So, a couple of them only got a few plays, and it's really hard to tell. And I think 2 others might have got 10 or 11 plays. And, it's good to get them out there, and we'll kind of see.
What did you think of Chico Clatcher's performance, and was there a concerted effort to get him some more chances after that first game?
Not really a concerted effort. You know, we're still just bringing him back and kind of evaluating him week to week. It is good to see him get out there and get the ball. He's an electric guy, and you know, I think he's making good progress, and we'll just keep bringing him along and make a plan week to week.
Looked like Savon got a couple more touches on the outside screens in the passing game. Is that something you're trying to work in a little more?
Yeah, like you say, we have some guys that we'd like to get the ball to. I mean, you got Miles in the backfield there, and you know, then you got Savon, and then you talk about Chico and trying to figure out how to get him the ball, maybe besides just being a wide receiver. And then I thought those other two running backs performed really well too, with Sean McGrew and Kamari Pleasant did a really good job. And so, you know, at this point, you know, that's a good problem to have, and we don't certainly see it as a problem at all. I mean, you know, it's a long season and all those things. I think those guys are playing at a good high level. We got to get our guys in front blocking for them a little bit cleaner and make some progress.
Coach, the last 2 years you guys played Utah. It's gone down to the wire.
Yep.
What is it about them that makes them a tough opponent?
Well, really, even the last 3 years, they you know, we had a couple turnovers 3 years ago, and then they kind of blew it open like late. But that's just a good. I mean, they're a good team, good program. This defense is, you know, as good as I've seen, and they're always known for defense in terms of what they're doing. I mean, they have some really good players that have played for them for a long time, and they are extremely aggressive. Yeah, this is one of the best defenses in our league for sure. You know, if not the best. I mean, we're early in the season and they stay healthy and all those things. Those guys do a really good job.
You got tired of a couple of recruits from the state of Utah. What is it about the Mountain region and Utah specifically you guys have started to like the past couple of classes?
Yeah, I think they play good. You know, they play good football over there, and pretty good population base in the Salt Lake area. And you know, that's what recruiting is. You know, it's kind of population based. If there's a lot of people, you're usually going to find some pretty good football players. And I think the high school coaches over there in Utah really coach those guys well. They're very prideful about football, and I mean, it shows up in Utah's program themselves, the University of Utah, and there's been just a lot of good players come from that state.
Do you have an opinion one way or the other in the early kind of league tells whether it's like SC and Stanford on Saturday or you guys?
What was your first part of your question?
Do you have an opinion on this, you know, having impactful Pac-12 games like second or third game of the season as opposed to maybe having your non-conference slate done with and then jumping head first?
Yeah. You know, I think if you have it your ideal way, you probably like to play your non-conference first. We just have so much more building to do, and you're building throughout the year. But certainly these first few games, you just really feel like you got some things to work on, and then you put this really meaningful, impactful game against a really good opponent. It's just the way the season is. The schedule is fallen this year, you know, to start with Auburn and then go to, you know, Utah, which is, I see it every bit, the styles are a little bit different, but every bit the same. Like, we're going to extremely hard place to play, harder than where we played back east, because now you truly are on their campus. And you know, a team that is super well coached and is going to be one of the better teams in the country, I think, when it's all said and done.
You mentioned Sean and Kamari after the game, and again just now. After reviewing the tape, what did you like about what they were able to do for you guys on Saturday?
Well, I think those guys run hard. You know, they're totally different. I think Sean's got really good vision. That has a knack for finding creases and sliding through them. And Kamari's kind of a bigger power type back that runs really hard. And, you know, a couple of those plays were blocked really well. So the combination, we had some big chunk runs there. So, yeah, it was good to see. It was good to see those guys go.
Coach Bonaparte said that Sean made a lot of progress in the spring and fall, just as an all-around back and just getting more mature. What have you seen from him over the past year that he's changed just as a person maybe on off the field? Kind of what have you seen?
Yeah, I just think there's growth and progress, and you know, their day will come. You know, they just need to keep working and be patient. And, you know, they both those guys have good skill, and their day will come.
I think you mentioned this after the game, and if I'm wrong, then I apologize, that Race Porter's punts, the line drive punts, that you actually prefer that? Is that correct, or did I hear
I
that?
prefer a 47-yard average, and I don't care if it comes in the air or on the ground.
You need from
47 yards is a lot better than the game before. So it's pretty good.
your punt coverage, kickoff coverage, you just talk about that out of.
Yeah. I think there was some improvement there. I mean, the punt coverage was great because the punts were so hard to field. The kickoff coverage, that's always, that's always work in progress. I mean, we spend as much time on that, on tape and analyzing this guy. It's, who depends, who's getting double teamed and who's getting cross-blocked and all these different things. And then now this guy has to fit. There's a lot of pieces to that puzzle. And then the kick changes everything, when it's a deeper kick, when it's a shorter kick. And so that thing's a little more complicated. But I think our guys have been doing a good job hustling down there. I think that's why you're seeing some of these fair catches, because I think our guys are kind of hard to block sometimes.
Others have kind of pointed this out, that it seems like the last couple of years that the running game has taken maybe a couple weeks to kind of get going. I know we talked about that last season as well. Is there any thoughts on that? Or?
Well, it makes sense, because how do you practice the run game all in the off season? You can't. You can practice the pass game all the time. You can throw all the time, but to practice really the running game and put pads on and have those 5 guys and getting real reps, it takes a while to get into that rhythm. So, yeah, but we better get it figured out, because this is a significantly different, better run defense than we've seen.
You had a situation, I think, near the west side of the stadium where you had 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and you went for it, and you couldn't get the yard.
Was this the quarterback sneak?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, was that just a matter of not getting a push, or what was?
It was one guy with a huge error. Yep, huge assignment error. That's what happens. You can't get a yard when you got assignment error. It's pretty hard to have an assignment error, you think, on a quarterback sneak, but we had one.
Talking about punting situation, is it almost like having 2 different quarterbacks working with the gunners and the coverage team, where they have to be ready for 2 very different styles?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's, it seems like everybody's got some sort of uniqueness to them in the punt game these days, formations or kickers, and certainly Utah has one of the better weapons in the country in terms of how they punt, and it can really change the game and make it hard and tough on you.
Did you get a chance to watch any of the games yesterday and see some of those touchdown catches?
Nope, I didn't see one snap of anything, but I heard some of our guys did pretty good. It's awesome.
Chris, the TV broadcast on Saturday said that Trey had back surgery, I guess. How did that go, and do you have a prognosis for him at this point?
Yeah, I don't really have, I'll talk about it later, but I'm just not, I haven't talked to the doctors or anything, and so we'll deal with that later.
If I ask what the error was on that sneak, you say go back and watch the film, or?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah?
I would. Yeah.
I know you haven't seen Britt Covey in a couple of years, but what makes him so unique?
He is really, really good. He's fast. I mean, really, really explosive, quick. Really good punt returner. I'd forgot about him. I remember that he was going on his mission, and I was so glad. And I don't know, maybe he cut his mission in half, because he's back here too soon for my liking, for sure. Because he's a playmaker. He is a playmaker. A lot of respect for him. He's just a young player too. He played 1 year, I think, and then went on his mission. Now he's back, and he looks like he's picked up where he left off. He's hard to tackle, really hard to tackle. Just a smart player. I mean, you can just tell how he plays. He's good.
Can you talk about the development of Ty Jones and just what he's been able to do since coming to campus?
Yeah, just steady progress, but we just really have liked his demeanor on how he works about things. I mean, he's just really been one of those very good practice players. I mean, just comes to work. He's just got a great vibe to him at all times. He just really, really cares, and it just hasn't changed one bit from his role last year, where he was, and he's still learning. He's still figuring, how to use all these techniques and all those type of things, and he's getting bigger and stronger and faster, and so it's exciting because he's going to continue to get better, and he's going to do that because of just how he approaches his day. I mean, he's a fun guy to be around. We have I think a lot of our guys work really hard, and then there's a handful of guys that just have that, just that business-like attitude when they come to practice day after day, that they are going to go hard and get better, and he's done that. I mean, everybody wants that really great skill like right now, and when it doesn't happen, most back off, and most, is it basketball season yet? I really like it when it is. Most back off. Like, that's the thing. It's like we have guys that have this tremendous potential, and they thought things were going to happen for them right now, and you can just see it. They just back down. They're a little discouraged. That's not how building real skill happens. It takes like a lot of time, and those that are strong in the mind and just are on that path are going to do some really good things. I think a lot of the young guys in our secondary have been like that and that's why they play at a good level. And I think Ty's like that, and Miles Gaskins has been like that, and Ty's got that.
Recruiting him, do you feel like you had to kind of overcome the hometown advantage with Utah, or was there anything like that with him?
Yeah, I don't remember. Yes, I think you always have to overcome a hometown team, with a player like that. There was a lot of people that were really into him. I mean, I know Ty was very much into our school here. Like, we talked as much about the school, the academic piece, as anything, and he would be the one bringing it up. And again, another guy that has put his money where his mouth is in terms of how he is as a student and how focused and how hard he works here. It's awesome to see.
Is there any part of the team after 2 games that you're maybe more pleased with than not?
I think we're still early, I do. I just think, and we played 2 just extreme different opponents, that it's very hard for me to, I think we play the next couple games, next couple 3 games. That's a decent amount of football, all unique, different styles, but we have some, very good teams, talented teams coming with different twists to them. That's going to tell us a lot. But I've been saying this I think we have a really hard schedule. I think it starts out really hard with, you can see these teams that improved, teams that, were good already, going on the road, all those type of things. I think it's, we got a lot on our plate.
Did you feel like there was any emotional hangover at all from the Auburn game whatsoever?
Nope. Any struggle, nope. Not at all. I don't think that had anything to do with maybe not running the ball like we wanted to. Yeah. If anything, it's like they care too much. They're trying to, get this just right, and they know what the expectations. That's why we just keep talking. Stop paying attention to outside expectations, whether we're playing Auburn or whoever. That doesn't matter. But if you listen to that, it does matter. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do right now, everybody starts to panic and get tight. So.
How much do you rely on the upperclassmen to kind of send that message to the young guys, or do you feel like you have to every year kind of reset with the new kids that show up?
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things that everybody has to do. It's got to come from all of us. Heck, some of the upperclassmen need to hear that message. All of us. It's just play one play at a time, one game at a time, 1 week at a time. As simple as that sounds, it's very hard to do that.
Does the defense change at all with Hansen moving up from secondary to linebacker?
They're always tweaking. Another really good football. How long he's been there forever? Would somebody please check his eligibility? That guy's made a lot of plays for Utah over the years, and what a heck of an athlete to play him in the secondary and now a linebacker, and he's just around the ball and fearless and physical, really good player.
And Huntley, his skill set? obviously it was a matchup last year.
He's a matchup problem for a lot of teams. I mean, anybody that can get out of problems and create things on your own. I mean, you know, you sit there all week long and design things, what you see on tape, and then he gets out of the pocket and runs, and that always changes everything. So that's always a problem.
I know you only have a couple games of film and whatnot, but with Gary Anderson involved now, is it fundamentally changed anything, or is it still kind of Kyle Whittingham's?
No, I think, Utah's been Utah as long as I've known him with Kyle there, and, all those coaches will have an impact, an influence, and it doesn't always look just the same. I mean, every year they're evolving and playing to their strengths and all that, but they're playing hard and playing good.
Coach, that atmosphere, that game day atmosphere in Utah is, if not one of the best in the Pac-12 in all of college football, and that fan base out there has probably had this one circled since the season went out. How are you preparing the team to go into that hostile environment like that?
Yeah, well, all you can do is prepare them for the noise, which we use every day in practice, whether we're home or away. Depending on what side of the ball, you're home or away. So, but yeah, it's what college football should be all about. And they do a great job over there, care about their football a lot.